Hello and welcome to another episode of In the Know with Sowetan. My name is Sibongakonke Shoba. My guest today is Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Minister Ronald Lamola.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
The first time I met you, you were the spokesperson of the now late former Premier of Mpumalanga at the time. But we sometimes take it for granted that we have known you for so long, and some of our readers and viewers don't know really where you come from. If you can just briefly maybe tell us about your background and maybe how did you get attracted to politics?
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Shoba, and to the viewers. As you said, it has been many years in terms of the interactions with yourselves as also journalists. We were also youngsters in the ANC Youth League. You must also say you're also upcoming journalist. Now an editor, very senior person in the newsroom. Yeah, no, it has been a long journey. I grew up in two areas. The first one is where my father was working. He was a farm worker in a farm of TSB Tenbush. It's next to the Mozambican border. And he's from Bushbuck Ridge. So my father and mother were both farm workers. So I got conscientized, I believe, unconsciously by my father, unaware that he's conscientizing his kids, because he used to like listening to the news hourly bulletin of the then Radio Tsonga,
Yes,
or Radio Swati, whichever way at the time. So he will, obviously as kids, you will say you must keep quiet for him to listen to the news. So you'll hear about Codesa, the armed struggle, the negotiations, and all those. As growing up youngsters in a farm, who were not really exposed to the outside world.
yes.
So I didn't understand one of the issues: we could not play with the kids of white people, not going to the same school. I had no understanding what could that be. But as I was listening to the news, I began to understand that there's segregation, there's apartheid, and I think listening to that inspired me that as I grew up, I want to be a lawyer, because most of the people I heard on the news, the current president, were lawyers,
Yes.
O.R. Tambo, Nelson Mandela, and so forth. So that planted a seed early in me as I grew up to be a lawyer, and as a result, when I went to high school in Bushbuck Ridge, where my father's family homestead is. Then I was active in the high school, joining the student movement there, and also the ANC Youth League. And also that made me to, firstly, when I went to the university, to also look for the branch of SASCO, to be an activist at the university level, where I became a leader of students, SRC president, and also the provincial chair of SASCO in Lepompo. So it was an upbringing which led me to be within, I can say, my entire young adult life in the structures of SASCO, of the Youth League, as an activist.
What about the role that the former deputy president played in your career? I've read, and as I said, the first time I met you working for him. What about the role that he played? And maybe if you can talk briefly about his legacy and how you remember him.
Yeah, obviously he played a great role for many youngsters in the Mpumalanga province. I was in Lepompo, as I have said, as a president of the SRC and also as a leader of SASCO. Then I had to serve articles because I studied the LLB in an area called Evander. It's next to Secunda. I believe most people will know Secunda than Evander. But there's a place called Evander just closer to Secunda in a law firm there called TM and Homo and Associates. That's where I served my articles. I was also an activist there of the ANC Youth League. I was also elected to be the district secretary of the Young Communist League in the area. and also at the time elected to be a PEC member of the ANC Youth League. And I became the spokesperson of the Youth League. That's where we then we crossed path with the then I think he was still the deputy chair of the ANC in the Mpumalanga province, and he was later elected to be the chair of the ANC in the province. So there will always be interactions with the ANC Youth League and the ANC leadership, and I ended up being an acting spokesperson in his office, and we had dynamic engagements. He also favored working with the young people, so we worked a lot with him and a lot of youngsters in the province. We had our engagements, which were very dynamic in terms of what the Youth League should stand for and what the ANC stand for, which was very robust and sometimes very difficult.
Yeah. And then you were elected in the National Executive Committee of Julius Malema when he was serving his second term. It was a very controversial term that ended with Julius being expelled, Floyd being suspended, and them leaving, forming the Economic Freedom Fighters. Do you have any regrets in terms of the struggles that the Youth League pursued at the time and the manner in which you conducted those struggles?
No, I don't have any regrets. I believe it has built our character. It's good when youngsters have got their own experience of engagements in terms of what they believe should be the prosecution of the National Democratic Revolution. We truly believed in our conviction on the program of action we're pursuing, the economic freedom in our lifetime. And I think that the ANC could have handled our viewpoints and differences differently in terms of guiding, in terms of what is theoretically sound and what the ANC's positions should be, because we always understood that the positions of the Youth League will not end up being copy and paste of the ANC positions, but they can influence the ANC, and that is what we were doing, to influence his position in terms of the economy, to deracialize the economy, to democratize the economy, to make it for the benefit of all South Africans. And with its experience, the ANC could have guided that program and made it relevant for its prosecution of the NDR and also of achieving the aspirations of the Freedom Charter. Because when you look at most of those resolutions and the policy positions, it's what we are still grappling with today in terms of the economy, in terms of the social structure of our society, and also in terms of the social ills. So I believe if we had attended to it at that time, we could have achieved a lot up to now.
Looking back now, do you think that the decision of the ANC to expel Julius and also suspend the other leaders of the Youth League at the time, do you think it was a correct decision?
No, I've always believed it was a wrong one, politically, because I think even if the ANC had a clear belief that we might have overstepped our role, the ANC could have still had an opportunity to correct, either by putting a lenient sentence, by also putting us through political guidance in terms of what the ANC believed should have been, how the Youth League should conduct itself, and how it can deal with this issue of the democratization or deracialization of the economy in terms of the economic freedom in our lifetime. And I think they did take a step to do some research with issues of regarding to the nationalization of mines and so forth. And I believe that should have been the proper form of engagement, which meant that the superior logic should have been the one that prevails. And we could have learned from that and also continue to sharpen our theoretical views and thinking to also be in line with what the ANC wanted. So there could have been a dynamic interaction instead of a sledgehammer of a disciplinary process, which then becomes very technical. So I do think that the there was still an opportunity, and that is what we raised at the time, that there is still an opportunity. The ANC should have a political engagement with the Youth League to find a political solution on all these issues, particularly because those were issues impacting the South African society in terms of the economy, the mainstream, the deracialization of the economy, which still is one of the key issues to date raised by the World Bank, that South Africa remains one of those unequal societies and the inequalities on the basis of race. So that could have been handled differently. But it is now water under the bridge. We are now dealing with the after effects of it. We have to build the ANC to rebuild its in society, but also to be able to continue to be a leader of society.
Then how do you do that? How do you bring back the glory in the ANC? We saw weekend reports suggesting that the ANC support has dropped drastically, especially in metros. How do you do that?
Yeah, we have to rebuild the trust of the people to the ANC, particularly at the level of service delivery, both at the local government level and also at the national level, and also work towards a program that will be clear in terms of the economy, how the majority of the population, the economy growing, resolving the challenges in the network industries, the railway infrastructure, the challenges in regards to our roads infrastructure across the country to enable the economy to function. And I think in that regard, one of those, there is now a clear silver lining. The electricity challenge is clear that is now something that is behind us. We need to maintain it so that the economy can be fired up. But the challenges of service delivery is what is at the core of what the nations needs to see, particularly with our local government, with our provincial governments, and also national government, resolving the bottlenecks that people face on a day-to-day basis. That is the only way we can restore the trust deficit that is now existing between the ANC and society. And obviously the economy must grow, unemployment must be resolved. So that is what preoccupies our work now as we continue to prosecute the National Democratic Revolution.
So what kind of a leader do you need to achieve all that you've mentioned?
Obviously you need leaders of integrity, and leaders that stand by their conviction. And I believe that we are on the right track. It's just that obviously the challenges were just at a very deep level. When you look at ESCOM, how long it took to resolve some of the issues, it's clear that there were deep-seated challenges. It's the same with the Transnet. The challenges are there, but there is now work in progress that I believe soon we will see a silver lining with regards to Transnet. SAA is back, and I'm beginning to see some hope also with Denel, because the state-owned enterprises have got a huge role to play to revitalize the economy.
Yes. For
the economy to be fired up and for the economy to begin to create economic growth and also to create jobs. So you need those to function. The second thing is the issues of service delivery. Where there are challenges, there must be consequences, particularly at local government level. We do have huge challenges across the country. Firstly, there is a systematic challenge that we also have to address, which is at the policy level. But there's also a challenge of just implementation at that level that has to be addressed, so that when we say there will be the basic things like cleaning of streets should be done, So those are issues that we have to address.
Not only when there is G20.
Yes, they should be done. There should be normal service delivery every day. Thing that societies can be able to see the dividends of their government working.
Yeah, you speak about a leader with integrity. We now know what happened a few years ago, thanks to the Zondo Commission, that revealed some of the things that some of the ANC leaders got entangled into. Then we have reports almost every day about ANC leaders being involved in corruption. Do you think you have that kind of leader right now serving in leadership in the ANC?
Yes, I think so. I mean, the president has proven to be a man of his ways with regards to those issues. I mean, when you look at the Zondo Commission, I know of the criticism that there is no implementation, but there has been a wide implementation of the recommendations that have been made by Zondo. The procurement laws, they've been changed to respond to that. There has also been people that have been arrested and who are undergoing trials as we speak. There is also a number of recommendations with regards to state-owned entities, how boards are appointed, which has been changed to respond to the Zondo recommendations. So there is a wide range of recommendations that you can see they've been implemented. Obviously, people will continue to criticize because they will have wanted to see everyone who has been implicated to be being on trial or having been convicted. But we all know that the processes of the courts take some time, and you need to give it a chance for life of its own, because also shortcuts can also lead to someone being acquitted or withdrawals of charges and all those things. So there is a process that I believe is leading to the implementation of most of the Zondo Commission's recommendations. But obviously society also expect that the implementation will only be seen if it's a politician. There has been some who have undergone the process, but there is also a lot of people from business, people also from officials, and some politicians. But there's also been billions of rands that have been recovered from the Zondo recommendations.
But the issue is that
the SIU.
Some of those people that mentioned in that report serve in the president's executive. They serve with you, they are colleagues.
Yeah, as I've said, you obviously have to give it a life of its own in terms of due processes of the courts, because also if you take shortcuts, you will end up with an egg on your face with some of the cases that you have seen that they've just collapsed. So there is a need for patience, and I believe that what is currently unfolding in front of our courts will lead to the justice that society is yearning for. You were Minister of Justice. You know all about these challenges. But I just want to find out. You have served in both these portfolios. Which one were you most comfortable in? Are you most comfortable in international relations or justice? No, I serve in on the president's call. Whichever call the president makes, I will execute the task.
This is a safe space. You can tell me. He's not here.
Yeah, no, I'm answering in the safe space. I serve in the president's call. Whichever task I'm given, I execute. And that's what I was doing with justice. I was assigned to do it, and I believe I did it to the best of my ability. I am assigned here now at international relations. I will do it to the best of my ability.
You are serving as international relations minister at a difficult period when South Africa has now earned some adversaries. Our foreign policy is being questioned. Looking back at 1994, South Africa was like the darling of the world, and now we have enemies. How is it? How is the challenge of serving in this difficult period?
Yeah, I think it's also a very good opportunity for our country to show its resilience. And maybe it's just that many people don't know, but South Africa is highly regarded and respected across the globe as a moral compass of society. When everyone was quiet on the issues of human rights with regards to Gaza, South Africa stood up, and the world continues to respect South Africa for that. But not only for Gaza, but South Africa's role in the African continent, in the DRC, in South Sudan, in the conflict in Ethiopia, with Eritrea. You will remember that the resolution there of the conflict is called the Pretoria Accord. It was signed here in Pretoria through South Africa's mediation. The interventions in Mozambique and Cabo Delgado, and recently after the elections. So South Africa remains highly regarded and respected for its moral standing and for standing firm on its principles, guided its international relations by human rights. You will obviously, in that context, attract adversaries. And obviously you expect that there will be consequences as you attract adversaries on your standing on principle, on human rights, and continuing to be non-aligned, because the world's biggest superpowers expect that you must align with them in one way or the other. But South Africa's position has always been that we are not anti-West. We're not an anti-West society, but we stand in our national interest, informed by our constitution on human rights, and that continues to guide our international relations policy.
Given the fallout of our decision to take the case to the ICJ, do you have any regrets about taking that decision?
No, not at all, because the might can't always be right on international relations. So, international relations based on the rule of law, on established rules, on the UN Charter. We can't regret having stood and defended the UN Charter. Even the UNSG continues to champion and support this. And as you will have seen, even some of the countries in the West that were very critical of South Africa's positions are now singing the same tune about the human rights violation in Gaza, the genocide that is unfolding, the famine that is looking everyone in their faces, because this is now happening in real time where everyone can see it. So there can't be regrets for such, because any country will expect solidarity when they are under siege. And I believe even ourselves were a product of international solidarity. So the might can't always be right. It is in the hands of UN member states to stand to protect the UN Charter. And that is what South Africa has done and has to continue to do.
Were you prepared for the fight back when you took that case?
Yes, we knew that there will be consequences. Obviously, you will never know the degree of the consequences, but we also understood at the time that the international community knew also that South Africa is vindicating the UN Charter, the human rights international law that everyone knows. So obviously we expected that there will be some repercussions, but we expected that will still be within the confines of a rules-based international law. We didn't expect that those could also come outside what is currently established, or a nation that wants to reorganize the international order as we know it, the post-World War II international order. So this has now changed the rules of the game, but not only for South Africa. It has changed it for everyone. All countries across the globe are now on the crossfire of this reorganization of the international order. So it's not only a South African exceptionalism, but across the globe. It's true that we also face our own unique set of circumstances that may not exactly be the same with other countries, but it's a worldwide phenomenon, and I believe countries of the globe are now standing together to protect the institution of multilateralism, UN platforms, the WTO, and the imported platforms that must protect the international UN Charter and also the rules of economic engagements through the WTO.
Given the engagement that you've had with the with the US administration, there's been several meetings that you've held with them. Do you think it's possible to mend relations with the US under the Trump administration?
No one knows, Joe. I mean, you know, the US administration is currently unpredictable. So you can't say with certainty that you will mend the relations. What we can say with certainty is that we will continue to engage, which is within our powers, and we remain open to engage, to do so in line with a mutual beneficial relationship, because the US is South Africa's second trading partner. We will be irresponsible or even reckless if we do not continue to open lines of engagements with the US, because it obviously has an impact on our economy. But we also have to do so in a manner that remains dignified, that continue to respect the mutual beneficial way of the relationship, because South African companies are also invested in the US, and the companies of the US that are invested in South Africa, they are also making money out of it. So it's a mutual beneficial, it's a two-way. So trade, it's a two-way thing. It is also against that background that with the realization that this is a global phenomenon, it's affecting everyone, not only South Africa. We also, with other countries of the world, have to diversify our trade and build with countries that we already have good relations, but our trade levels were low. Build on that and also look at new markets to diversify the South African economy even further. Although it remains diversified, because we are in many, we have got trade agreements with many countries across the globe. But we need to do more, particularly now with the situation that we're facing with the US.
Well, and where is the process of appointing an ambassador to the US?
It is at a very advanced stage. And it has to be done with extreme caution and due diligence. You will remember that our ambassador in the US was expelled by the US just on the eve of the negotiations and on the eve of the processes of tariffs. So we are in the process, and we always emphasize that even if we had started the process immediately after the ambassador was expelled, it will not have been finalized now, because the process takes long. You will remember that even the US ambassador to South Africa was nominated around March or April, but his process is not yet complete internally in the US, and also we also have to run our own internal processes. So the process to appoint the ambassador is at an advanced stage, but we don't want it to be confused with the current trade negotiations, because we believe it will not have had any impact even if we started the process, because our ambassador was expelled around March or April, if I'm correct with my dates. So it will not have we will not have completed the process anyway. So we will be running with the current. And ambassadors do not really negotiate trade deals. Our Department of Trade and Industry is the one at the center of that negotiations, obviously supported by DERCO and also our mission in Washington.
Any names that you are looking at?
No, I can't reveal the names. That is the discretion of the president. When the process is complete, we will make the announcements once the president has signed. At this stage, we are not at liberty to reveal any names.
There are suggestions that maybe you need, suggestions from some quarters, that maybe you need an Afrikaner kind of a leader to go and represent South Africa there, or someone who may appeal to the Trump administration. What's your view on that?
Yeah, we obviously have to take a decision informed by our own national interests as South Africa, and look at the South African who's fit for purpose.
Yeah.
I will not state whether that person should be black, white, or Afrikaner. It should be a South African who is fit for purpose. And I think all those are factors that the president is considering. But we have to do it within our national interest and sovereignty.
There's criticism about our foreign policy. Some people are saying, no, there are double standards in the way we approach issues, the way we approach what's happening in Gaza, and the way we're approaching what is happening in the Ukraine. What principles define our foreign policy?
As I've said, our national interest, the UN Charter, and also our own constitution guides our global outlook in terms of human rights outlook. And with regards to Ukraine, South Africa has been one of the most consistent in terms of the respect of the sovereignty of the Ukraine, in line with the UN Charter. And we did not only stop there. Our president led an Africa initiative to engage President Zelensky and also engage President Putin. He, up until President Trump, was the only head of state in the world who has spoken to both President Zelensky and President Putin. And you will remember he also hosted President Putin here and also took an initiative. Up until this day, they view his role as very crucial in terms of bridging the gap between the two leaders. And they continue to engage with him. And South Africa's role is also widely recognized, not only by the two. Even some countries still engage our president with regards to the ongoing engagements to find a long-lasting solution in Ukraine. So that criticism, is not really based on reality, because even when you remember Shoba, South Africa was the first country to call for mediation, to call for dialogue on this matter. And we continue to do so even to date. And everyone now realizes that indeed this matter will only be resolved when the two protagonists are able to sit on the table, iron out the issues of divergence, which are clear for the world to see. That these are the issues of divergence, and the parties need to come to the table to find a long-lasting solution. So there is nothing that is of a double standard, because we, as I've said, even when you look at the president's speeches at the UN General Assembly, he emphasized the centrality of the UN Charter, the respect of territorial integrity, which is the same with regards to Gaza, with regards to the West Bank. So, but he went further to say the two protagonists must engage with each other, which is always the way to resolve international disputes, because there has never been any military victory in recent history of any country in a war situation. And that means that the only solution is through dialogue.
What do you say about...
Minister, you said he hosted President Putin, you meant Zelensky. Can we just say that again?
I thought I said Zelensky.
You said Putin.
Yeah.
I said Putin?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's Zelensky. So should I...
Can we just say that again so we can record it separately so that you can...
okay.
So this is you also hosted President Zelensky.
Okay. Yeah, he also hosted President Zelensky here in South Africa to further the engagement.
Yeah, but there's been mixed messaging, Minister. The general of the Defense Force went to Iran, and then the ANC, the government then distanced itself from his utterances that he made there. But then the minister then came out to defend him. What is happening? Which is which?
Yeah, with regards to international engagements, all of them, departments do have a role to play as a line function departments. But all they are coordinated by the Department of International Relations and Cooperation in consultation with the presidents. So even myself, when I go to any international platform or international engagement, it is something that the president is aware of, and is our expectation that all such engagements will be coordinated through DERCO, and that is also governed by the Foreign Services Act.
Yeah. In the beginning, you said that we remain very influential and highly regarded around the globe. But we seem to have taken our foot off the pedal when it comes to matters in Africa. For an example, there is a deal between DRC and Kigali that we are not part of. Have we decided to take a back seat when it comes to matters of that affect the continent?
Not at all. South Africa, even on the same matter of the DRC, you will remember that our defense force was participating through the Summit DRC and helping to, as a guarantor, to enable the parties to find peace and dialogue, the protagonists in the conflict. So we were there. There was also an engagement through SADC and also the East Africa that South Africa participated in, which led to a number of resolutions, ceasefire, resolutions of the conflict, and also the engagement with all the state and non-state actors in the conflict. So we have participated through that platform. We see the platform you are referring to of Qatar and the US as reinforcing the work that has been done by SADC and the East Africa community. So the African Union remains seized with the matter. As you are aware, the facilitators of the African Union are continuing with the processes of engaging the state and non-state actors in the conflict, because you will not be able to resolve that conflict without bringing all those relevant protagonists, state and non-state actors, but also the parties within the DRC itself, which the African Union remains seized with the matter. And South Africa, through that platform, is seized with the matter.
Yeah.
And it's not only in the DRC. South Africa is also the chairperson of the Committee of Five, leading the processes of assisting South Sudan to its first democratic elections. And there is lots of work that we've done. Our president has visited South Sudan. I have visited South Sudan. My predecessor, Dr. Pando, also was there. The DP remains the special envoy of the president on South Sudan. He has been there. The former DP has been to South Sudan. So we remain seized with that matter. And also, when we started, I did mention, you will remember the issue related to the Ethiopia and Eritrea with the Pretoria Agreement. We remain seized with its implementation, although there is relative peace now, but its implementation remains key for the African Union. We continue to support that process. We have supported the initiative in the north of Mozambique, Cabo Delgado. So South Africa remains seized with a number of issues in the African continent. Unfortunately, they don't get the same publicity as the Gaza and West Bank conflict, but I can tell you that 90% of our work is in the continent.
There are reports that some of the African countries, some who happen to be our neighbors, are accepting criminals from the US. Does that concern Pretoria? And have you engaged with those countries to raise your concerns?
Yes, it does concern us because, as you are aware, as part of the SADC region, we have got a flexible regime on visa within these countries. So if they are hardcore criminals accepted by our neighbors, it's an issue of concern to us, because we know that it becomes a security issue because of the proximity of such countries to South Africa. And as a result, we did engage with the High Commissioner of Eswatini on the matter, and engagements are still ongoing.
Yeah. You are Minister of a Government of National Unity. So when you drive policy, do you drive policy informed by the policies of the majority party, or do you drive policy that is policy of all members of the Government of National Unity?
I drive the policies that are informed by the Constitution. Yeah, so the statement of intent of the GNU says that our international relations policy must be informed by the Agenda 2063 of the AU. It must be having a human rights outlook. It must be informed by our national interest, the National Development Plan. It must also be informed by the Foreign Services Act. So we are implementing that. There is nothing that we are doing which is outside that. So there is no new policy on international relations that we have now been mandated to implement. We are implementing what is existing in terms of the Constitution, the national interest document. Up until those have been changed, we continue to implement. Obviously, there are contemporary issues that come to the fore from time to time, and there is a platform in cabinet that the Department of International Relations in each and every cabinet meeting reports, and all members of the national executive are present. They interrogate us, they give us their views and perspective, and we continue to shape our approach to international relations.
Let's discuss your relationship with the president. Do you meet on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, to discuss what's the way forward, or he trusts you enough to be able to implement the policy that he believes in?
He trusts me enough to implement the policies of the government in line with the Constitution, in line with the national interest document, and a number of policies that are guiding international relations. But obviously, there are issues from time to time that I need to consult with the president. Delicate, complex, and sensitive issues of the state. There is a need for me to consult with him from time to time on the policy perspective and direction. And it is also against that background that we also encourage departments, government departments, to do the same when they attend to international obligations and engagements. And up to so far, I think the departments have been superb. We have not had incidences where someone will go outside, speak outside the mandate. For example, the Department of Environmental Affairs, it's one of the departments that attends a lot of engagements outside South Africa, almost similar to DERCO. Many people don't know that, but it's in terms of international conferences, COP70, COP30, and so forth. They've got lots of such. So every time they attend, they receive a mandate, a cabinet mandate, and DERCO provides and confirms that indeed this mandate is in line with the policies of government. Then they attend the conferences. Agriculture, they do the same. Trade and industry, all government departments, as and when they go and engage, we confirm their mandate. So we continue to execute that task, and we continue to encourage all state functionaries to respect that mandate.
Yeah. Your department, a lot of departments are preparing for the G20 Summit taking place in November. How will South Africans benefit from G20 besides Joburg residents seeing people cleaning up the streets and the street lights now are on and we can drive safely in Johannesburg? How will normal South Africans benefit from hosting of the G20 Summit? The
benefits are enormous, Shoba. Firstly, the financing for development. The financing for development, very little funds comes to Africa to finance for development. The G20 is a good platform for us to shine a spotlight on that, to reverse and change it, so that the financing for development money that comes to the continent, it's you can see it through infrastructure, the road infrastructure, the artificial intelligence, and all that. That is a huge benefit for the continent and also for South Africa, because we will benefit when the international financing institutions work on helping us to finance what we need as a nation. The second one, the financing for climate change. The countries in the global north, I mean, if there is a huge disaster, already they have the funds, they can quickly resolve the challenge. With us, you will know that sometimes the funds get depleted and insurances sometimes don't fund for natural disasters, or there's not enough money to help us to mitigate those factors. That's the second aspect that it will help us with, to finance, to mitigate natural disasters in the continent. The whole of Africa has got the same challenge, including South Africa. The third issue on artificial intelligence, most of the continent who are participating only on the governance side or as consumers, but we are saying we've got a youthful population. The rich countries need to invest in our continent so that we're also on the driving edge of research, of innovation for artificial intelligence. And that's why you will see now already some of the big companies in AI and technology are beginning to set up data centers in South Africa and in some parts of the continent. So there's a huge benefit for our country. Obviously, you have mentioned the issues of normal infrastructure that is happening, but also in terms of our tourism across the country, we have made sure that all the four corners of South Africa's tourism benefit. I mean, the Cape Town, Durban, the Kruger National Park, the Northwest, Sun City, and many parts of the province. And those are, you can see it through the numbers of tourism that is injecting into the economy of South Africa. But most importantly for us is on the content, the financing for development, climate change, and artificial intelligence.
How important is it for invited heads of state to attend the event?
Yeah, it is very important. It's crucial. This is their meeting. This is where heads of states commit themselves. And the G20 is a consensus-based organization. So that's why you need them to come to own up in terms of the outcome, the declaration, so that it can have the necessary impact in the UN platforms, in the global finance institutions, in the governors of the reserve banks, ministers of finance, ministers of international relations. Its impact becomes enormous for the benefit of the global community.
The possible non-attendance of US President, will it have any impact on the standing of that summit, given that we are supposed to hand over the presidency to the US?
Yes, it will. Obviously, the first thing, as I've mentioned, is the fact that the G20 is a consensus-based organization, meaning that all 20 countries need to agree on the declaration, on the outcomes. So if one country does not agree, you may end up with no declaration. You end up with what is called the chair summary. So if all countries participate and you end up with a declaration, it's the good way, because then that declaration becomes more impactful. But if heads of state, for example, of the US, who have already said they are invited, they are allowed, they must participate. The G20 is their platform, but it is their choice. You can't force someone to attend.
Yeah.
But we have said it's open, it's allowed. If they don't attend and they send somebody else, delegate somebody else on behalf of the US, that will still be fine, because we will still be able to have the outcomes that will still be impactful to the people of the globe and to the people of the world. And that is what we expect for this. And this will be good for the African continent, for the global south, because the South African G20 is a bridge of the global south and the global north. So there is a need for us to get out with a clear outcome that must be persuasive, that must be impactful to the people of the world.
What's the next step for you? Do you have ambitions beyond this point?
Yeah, I continue to participate and serve my country, and I see this as a very great humbling experience to be bestowed this responsibility. I see it as someone who is representing a generation. I have to do my best to ensure that people of my generation can be trusted with huge responsibilities. And obviously, I will not know what will be next because, our duty is by show of hands, firstly in the ANC, secondly in cabinet. Is by the discretion of the head of state at the time, who is the president. So I always say that I will serve as per what I am mandated to do.
In the last ANC conference, you accepted nomination when a lot of people thought we were going to pull out and allow other people to run, but you stood your ground. You said you are going to represent your generation. Are you going to do that in the next conference?
Yeah, and I think it was very key and relevant because, as I have always said, I believe in generational mix, that various generations in the ANC have got a role to play. Those generations can co-influence each other, and when they work together, they can build a dynamic force that can continue with the renewal process of the ANC. As to whether I will avail myself or not, I will answer at the right time when the moment is right. At this stage, what I continue to say is that, as you have said, that in the last elections we got 40%. We are a movement that is on a rebound, that needs to reboot and rebuild. That is what all members of the ANC should focus on. And the issue of succession, I think there is a need for an open engagement by members of the ANC. Engage openly. And I always say we should not confuse the process of nomination with the succession debate, because the process of nomination is when you now open it up for structures to nominate an individual to lead, which is led by the Electoral Commission. But before that process, there is a need for ANC structures to debate on the succession debate and say these are the type of leaders we want to see leaders in this epoch, and not personalize it as it is happening now with the leaks and all that, so that we are able to have an honest conversation as members that we are in this situation. And I believe that the NGC that is upcoming could lay the basis of a policy engagement on succession. How must it be managed? I mean, in the last conference, the Renewal Commission did say that liberation movements have to engage and manage the succession issue. The CCMA in Tanzania already has some process of managing the succession issue. In Nicaragua, they have had a way of managing it. So I also think that we in the ANC have also reached that stage now that the issue of succession can no longer be left to nature, where when you wait for the nomination process and see who will be nominated. In the past, the ANC had a way where the elders guided the process. I mean, the 1991 conference and prior to that, where some leaders will say, but we think this is what will be best for the organization. You will remember all those debates, the Thabo Mbeki Krisani situation, Winnie Thabo Mbeki situation, and a lot prior to that when O.R. Tambo wanted to relinquish in the Morogoro conference because of the sharp criticism that was coming from the floor. But the leadership prevailed on him. So I think we need that type of engagement, honest engagement. What type of leaders do we need now? Is through the eye of the needle still relevant? Are we still practicing it, following it? If we are not, why not? If we need to modify it, how do we modify it, and how do we guide the process? Because the reality is that we had a closed leadership engagement in the past because the ANC was underground. But now we're no longer underground. We're living in a constitutional democracy. And anyway, the structures themselves don't engage on this debate of leadership. But we know when you see the leaks and so forth that there are platforms where this issue of leadership is being engaged. So the structures need to guide this process. So that's where I am. And that's why I say at the right time, I will be able to state.
Do you think the ban on the succession talk is selective? That you are not, some people are not allowed to speak about it, but people are talking about it, some in secret. Is that why you are saying it should be open up so that it is not seen to be?
No, in fact, it's not even about that. I don't think that is. I think that what is banned now and what we are dealing with is a technical process of nomination. And which is attaching personalities. What I think should be engaged on, and that's what I say, should be open. It should not be something that is only discussed somewhere and we only see it through leaks. Every Sunday you see a name and all that, or even on social media. I think with our processes, and that is what the Renewal Commission in the last conference clearly recommended, that we need to modernize the way in which we elect or select leadership to remain within the context of an evolving society. The society has evolved. We can't continue with the methods of that we have always been using. We need to evolve with the evolving society and also be able to acclimatize our own organization to the renewal program that we are championing.
Yes.
And I believe that will help us to then engage openly amongst the members who will then be the right principles that must guide us for the election of leadership. And that also will also lead us to the debate on through the eye of the needle, and also whether we need to revise it, to modernize it. Is it still practice? Honestly, I mean, we know, I mean, in terms of the processes that we are undergoing. So that is the debate that I think must still continue and lead towards the process when the nomination is opened.
Mr. Lamola, thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching another episode of In the Know with Sowetan. My name is Sibongakonke Shoba. Until next time.